Hi, everyone. My name's Matt, and together with my group, including Caroline Mallory and Amanda Zakelj, we did a contemporary retelling for children of The Oil Peddler Wins the Queen of Flowers for our project. And so to do this, we presented this story as a children's picture book and included some extra diegetic commentary in italics to supplement the plot of the story as we go along. And before I get into the actual story, just as a preface, in this adaptation of The Oil Peddler Wins the Queen of Flowers, we aim to highlight the pervasive class discrimination that existed in the time of Feng Menlong's ratings. We tried to convey this theme and how to overcome it in a way that can be easily understood by and is relatable for children. While keeping the themes and literary devices in the original story, we devised a story that is more accessible and appropriate for a wider audience than Feng Menlong's version. We decided to highlight only a fraction of the story while maintaining the outline of the original to get this point across. So now moving on to the actual story. In Linan, China, there was a boy named Qing Zhang who lived on South China Street. Here was where all of the poor children and their families resided, despite working harder than their peers to the north. As his father was an oil peddler, they couldn't afford more than a hut. On the north end of the street lived Wang Mei, who lived in a wealthy home for orphans whose parents had passed of COVID-19. She had a fantastic life despite this and lived in a bubble of privilege. After school, Qing Zhang worked with his father selling oil to residents on the north side of China Street. One Wednesday afternoon, a fun-loving girl caught his eye playing in the flowers, and it happened to be Wang Mei. Qing Zhang approached her residence to ask her mother if she could have a playdate soon. Sadly, he was unaware of his place in society. With you, replied the stepmother. Why not? I have A's in all of my classes and am a very hard worker, said Qing Zhang. Well, what kind of toys do you even have? Wang Mei doesn't entertain kids who don't have at least 3 Webkins and a DS. By the looks of you, I think you should get going, said the mother. In English, Qing Zhang walked back down to the southern side of the street, but got a glimpse of Wang Mei and waved at her. More than ever now, Qing Zhang knew he needed to save up for these toys. Qing Zhang hit the streets with longer hours and made more tips than ever before. After a year, he finally saved up enough for the DS and Webkins and even ice cream to bring Wang Mei. He returned to her residence to once again ask her stepmother if they could have a play date. He brought along the toys that he had saved up for. And then in the pictures below, we have Wang Mei's stepmother saying, 我他真的有合适的玩具, and Qing Zhang saying, 可以跟王妹一起出去玩. So it's a stepmother saying, wow, he really does have the right toys. And then Qing Zhang once again asking if he can now have a play date with Wang Mei. I appreciate that you brought all these toys, but Wang Mei is still very picky and may not want to hang out with you, said her mother. Though Wang Mei was very picky, her mother had made her this way. He begged, and eventually her mother agreed to set up the playdate. On the day of the playdate, Qing Zhang went to the orphanage and met Wang Mei. He gave her the toys to play with and ice cream, and she was still disappointed to be playing with him. She ate the ice cream and it made her really sick. She tried to hide it, but Qing Zhang saw that she was going to be sick, and he gave her his jacket to protect her clothes. She threw up on his jacket and was embarrassed but grateful for his kind gesture. And then on the left, we have Wang Mei saying "Du zi teng si le" and Qingzhong saying "Zhao Gao," which translates to Wang Mei saying "My stomach really hurts," and then Qingzhong saying "Oh no" or "This is bad." Since she was sick, he decided to go home, but after his kind gesture, she began to think that she would not actually mind having a play date with him. And then in this picture on the right, we have Wang Mei thinking, "Yeshu ta hai hao," which translates to maybe he's okay. A few days went by and they did not speak or see each other. Wang Mei thought that he was a really nice boy, and she was sad that she would likely not be able to play with him again. In the meantime, she had other playdates with people, but she kept thinking about Qingzhong. None of these spoiled other kids she played with were as sweet as Qingzhong. On one particular playdate, a group of boys were being mean to Wang Mei, and she did not know how to get out of playing with them. Qingzhong happened to pass by on his way to sell some oil, and he stopped to yell at the mean boys. He invited Wang Mei to hang out with him instead, and they ran away from the bullies. She was grateful for what he did, and she realized that he was a better friend to her than any other friend she has ever had. She asked him to be her best friend and convinced her mother to schedule many more playdates with him. They bought his family's oil and they shared toys every day after that. The end.